And now I'm in the parking lot. Two reasons why I'm in the parking lot. One is, if I just bring her out of the barn, or out of the square pen and take her to the barn becomes the perfect place. If I work her a little bit, especially something a little bit demanding right by the barn, it just teaches her that it's not all payoff to come here, that every place is about the same. So that takes care of a little bit of that tendency of horses to get too attached with the barn, too destination addicted. The second reason is, and I'm the only guy in the world you'll hear say this, I think, but I find horses can back up better on a firmer surface. So I've got sand in both my other pens, and I believe that probably I'm going to get an easier leg motion out here on this firm surface. So this mare had a little bit of a backup on her when I got her, and I work on the backup pretty early in my program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride her up here toward my other pen, and I'm going to stop her and pretty quickly back her up. Stop, gather her, and let's back up. And that's good. Now what she did, and this was a big thing with her, was she would put her chin up and she'd go backward, but she'd go backward in that sort of inverted position. So I'll walk her up here, and she kind of knows what's coming. I'm going to gather her, roll my seat, see that? And ask her, and I want her to give me steps. I don't want to have to beg for them. Now you see that little move there? That's what I call a bonus step. If she stepped forward, that would mean she's rejecting the backup. She's not thinking back. When they think backward and take that little extra unrequested step, even though it's not something I asked for, I gratefully accept. So that suggests to me that if I just picked up like this light, she'd back up. I like that. So I don't overwork the backup, but I do work on it every day. And there are two things that I will do with her at this stage that I find to be important. One of them is to gather her or collect her in the bridle so that her nose isn't out, so that she gives and then asks for her feet. I'm rolling my seat. You see how her chin's going down, her head's going down, and she was pulling there, so I bumped her in the belly.
So we're freezing this here to show something to beware of. Superficially, people might like the fact that this mare has softened up and has dropped her head. There's a knee-jerk response that says lowering the head is good. Not always. Here, she's lowered her head and is hanging on my hands. She has given her face and has actually overflexed, which isn't what you want. So I was asking her to collect, to give her face, asking her to step back, but I want her shoulders elevated and I don't want her overflexing like this. So that's what we're going to work on to correct a bit next. This is not surprising, this happens, but if you repeat it again and again, it becomes a habit, and you don't want that.
In the belly. Did not bump her in the belly with a spur. But what I am going to do, and maybe Kim, you can focus on her side here, I'm going to roll my spur along her belly. That makes her back raise up, get rounder, and it also helps to keep her moving. You don't want to just be dragging them back indefinitely with your hands, or they will indeed learn to lean on you. So here we're out here, and I'm just going to pick up, roll my seat, I would actually rather have her head up in that slightly elevated position than bearing down like she did, which is why I put my hands up here and picked her up. So now I'm going to see if I can do it a little prettier and more correctly. There's her head. And when they give you those real good steps, don't say, oh, that's so good. I'm going to go for 10 more and see if I can make it even better. Smile and say thank you. Send them a big bouquet of roses, because that's what you want. You want them to go back on their own, almost with that self-carriage we talked about in the backup, so that you put them in the backup, they stay there without much cue till you cancel it. So I'll step her forward, and I like to move them. Some people don't. I like to freshen their feet up a little bit, reset. And I'm touching her with a spur there. And that elevates her a little. It brings her chin up a little as she does that. But she'll learn, because I don't want her to back way down here. I don't want her to back way up here. I don't want her to back up way with her nose out there. I want her to just round, curl, flex herself, curl her back, and step back politely. See, and that little resistance is a real good thing to take out with the backup. So there you go. So that's a real simple backing lesson, and that's pretty much where I'll end. You could absolutely overdo that. This mare's just learning to be a little better in the bridle. She just had her teeth done not long ago, so I don't want to overuse her mouth. But it does have to get educated. And she's, I think, well on the way for her stage of training. Let me know what you think. Till next time.